Alright, so MonsterVerze is being attacked by their community, and they actually had to release a new statement and close their chat channels because the harassment towards their moderators and team got so bad. And obviously, it's an incredibly negative situation, and so I want to bring some context and some light as to why the game developers chose to release the game specifically on the 31st. Why the game was pushed back. There's some more information regarding Roblox's choice to moderate the game, and also we're going to be going over their statement, as well as comments made by the community before the chat channels were closed last night that I think are a little bit problematic. Now keep in mind, any comments will be censored for the usernames because I don't feel like blasting somebody on YouTube like with the username of something they said in a moment of anger is the right thing to do. At the end of the day, should people have said nasty things? No, but all the really nasty comments that would be worth blasting people for have been taken off the Discord. So these are just comments that I feel like are a little bit contradictory or just in poor taste. At the end of the day, if people don't understand the situation and they make a nasty comment based on a misunderstanding, I don't feel like that should be something that is held against them for the rest of their life. But guys, please be mindful of things that you're saying. Please be careful the way that you're wording things, and just don't be a nasty, negative person. Remember that the people behind the screen are humans, just like you. And until you guys receive nasty comments or you've had people say mean things about you, I feel like it's hard to understand just how harmful it can be. And the power of being a positive person and saying nice things to the developer team actually really goes a long way. So I'd encourage you guys that if you are on social media to leave them a nice comment, say that you're proud of them. You could always say something that you love about the game, or just thank them for all their effort, because sitting here complaining that the game's being pushed back, I think is a little bit silly when they've been doing their absolute best and this is completely out of their control. So anyways, this statement was made about an hour ago at the time of recording this video. It's made by the owner of the game, and it reads, "Last announcement regarding the situation plus community statement." And there's a TikTok attached to it, which I will attach below. Community statement. You guys, I'm actually super sick right now. But I do want to state I'm beyond disappointed and upset about people using this situation as a means to attack my staff, moderation, and development team. We can be perfectly understanding of disappointment or anger towards the current situation. What I will never be understanding or accepting of is cursing out, threatening, and attacking my staff and community members. Just because chat is moving fast doesn't give you the right or the authority to start being a terrible person. Preschoolers know that. Additionally, do not go harassing other games. Which, small interjection, I think people think that if a chat's going fast, people just won't see the messages, and so they think they're like hidden or they're like not accountable for what they say. That's a very toxic perception to have. At the end of the day, a lot of creators, including game owners, will read a lot of the feedback they get because that's their job as a creator, is to understand what the community wants. And so when you're leaving nasty comments and just being a terrible person and thinking that, oh, well, there's other people saying it, so it's fine, you are part of the problem. Why are you doing that? They go on to say, I have no idea why anybody blamed others for the situation outside of Roblox. While I do think miscellaneousness is involved, this does not give anybody the right to point fingers, and this is something I've repeatedly warned this community about, and might be the main catalyst for why we might end up shutting down the chat or Discord for good. Be kind and respectful, we are all just people. I only have 14 moderators. We cannot handle this large influx of attacks and harassment. Which, I didn't know they only had 14 mods. That might seem like a lot, but for the size of the Discord server, it's really not. And in just a couple days, they put out actually an application to be moderators. So if you guys want to, you can always apply. I'll put a link to the Discord server for this in the description below. But what's interesting to me, specifically, is that they're kind of talking about it might be catalyst for shutting down the chat or Discord for good. And in my own Discord server, I had a lot of people be like, hey, Pommy, how do I get access to the full server? And that is the full server. What you see, that's the full thing. And a lot of people be like, add chat channels. For me personally, chat channels just create a lot of negativity. There's always people being like, Candy Lover 37 said that I smell like stocks and she was mean to me. And personally, I think like most people, I'm too busy to deal with that. Okay, I don't want to hear people fighting with each other and causing issues and starting drama in a Discord server. Like, I'm not your mommy. It's not my job to babysit you. And at the end of the day, oh, you can have mods. Well, then you have to like deal with mods, and then stuff happens to the mod. Then you have to go and talk to the mod, and you have to hire people, and it's this whole thing. It's just too much work. It's just not worth it, in my opinion. So the Discord server, in my personal server, is just for video suggestions. That's all it is. And I think a Discord server can be a great way to share updates on your game and to get community feedback in like a ticket system. But I feel like having open chats, especially when your game is so big, is a very challenging thing to manage, and I can understand how it would be overwhelming. They finished by saying, as stated before, our new release is planned for Halloween weekend. We'll be opening the countdown game maybe 1 to 3 days before the new release. Thanks to Twitter for voting on it. So that's the statement. Now, regarding this statement, there was some comments that were made by the community in the Discord chats. Now, keep in mind, the most nasty ones were content deleted. I believe those people were either banned or the comment was just taken down. And so I'm not villainizing anybody who left these comments, hence why the usernames are blurred. But I am just going over them because I feel like some of these are a widely shared sentiment. It's rooted in misinformation. This first one reads, if the suspension is gone, why can't we play? I'm just getting confused now, and I feel the game is just going to lose its hype, not to be rude. So this comment, I'm happy to clear it up for you, and this was cleared up in the TikTok, which again, you guys can watch after this, which is linked below. But the developer of the game emphasized that they've had some issues with Roblox moderation, but it seems like it's all been cleared up. But when the initial game getting or experience being taken down happened, certain places within the experience could not be reached. They were basically moderated, from my understanding. Keep in mind, this is my understanding. Maybe I'm interpreting wrong. But basically what happened is certain places within the experience were taken down and they're not accessible. If you guys don't understand what a place is, think of Royal High, right? If you're in the main area of the castle and you're spinning the wheel and you're doing your thing, and you're like, you know what, I want to go to the dorms, and you summon a portal, and you click it, and you go to the dorms, and you teleport there. There's a reason why you can't just walk from the wheel or the fountain at the front of the school all the way to the dorms. The reason for that is because games will create basically like sub games. Think of it like a sub channel or something, where you can then visit this separate section of the game without causing lag for everybody else. Because if they had this whole big map in one area and everybody was in all sorts of areas of the map, and the map is massive and people are everywhere, it's going to create a lot of lag for players. It's also just going to make it really difficult for the game to add a lot of detail. Because example, if you've ever seen the front desk where Poppy sits, there's all these little tiny things like pens and books and computers and mouses and all sorts of stuff, right? And in order for that to be there, it has to be a separate area, because if there are so many items in just one area, and then there's all these items in the main lobby, and then there's all these items in the bathrooms and all sorts of stuff like that, it becomes very difficult for Roblox to keep hosting that because there's just so much going on at once. And so the way that they reduce lag and make the game run smoother for everybody is by creating places, which are just like sub games under the main game. So when you go to a new area, like the dorms or bathroom, you go to another place. And what the creator was saying, that certain places have been locked by Roblox moderation, and although the bans have been lifted, Roblox moderation has said it's going to take some time for those places to be available. And so what this person is saying, why can't we just play if it's unbanned? Because according to the creator, certain places within the game aren't accessible, meaning, I don't know the full, obviously, layout of the game, but example, take this with a grain of salt. You're at the main area and you want to go to the cafeteria, and let's say the cafeteria is another place. If that place is still taken down, you'll click teleport to the cafeteria and it will say error and it will kick you from the game. So I think regardless, the game really just can't win this situation. I feel like people are just complaining without understanding what's going on. But if they release the game like normal, and you try to go to the cafeteria and it kicks you, people are going to complain and get all upset, be like, this isn't fair. And if you push back the release date like they've done, people are still upset saying they're playing games. But the truth is, they can't release a game if certain key aspects and certain key areas of the game aren't accessible. That's going to ruin the gameplay. It's going to create issues. And so to be safe, they gave themselves about a week buffer. So hopefully Roblox does the due diligence and reenacts these places within that time frame, because they don't exactly know when the places will be accessible again, which is what is so problematic about this whole Roblox moderation thing. The next comment is this one, which reads, this wouldn't have happened if they just released in September instead of trying to hide their shame. Which I don't know what they mean by shame. This seems like a really inflammatory comment. But again, at the end of the day, I think people are very entitled and think the game has come out right now. And the game, this game, has decided to have open free beta. And so you can't be super nasty and entitled and be like, you have to release it now, and because you didn't release it then, you're bad. They didn't push it back for no reason. Obviously, people don't want to keep working on a game and not get paid for it. They only start getting paid once people start buying stuff for the game and join the game, right? So all that time between now and September, they haven't been getting paid. If they, if it was like a choice, I'm sure they would have just put the game out in September so they could be earning money over the past month. But the reality is the game wasn't ready. And I'd much rather a game make a well-rounded game with a lot of detail than to spit out some random half-assed piece of junk that nobody wants to play. I respect the dev team a lot, actually, for pushing the date back and being transparent with the community, because I feel like a lot of games would just put something out that isn't finished, that is super laggy, super buggy, and they understand the community has a certain, expectation for the game's quality, which I don't think is a bad thing, but in order to maintain that expectation, they have to set realistic standards, and you shouldn't be pressuring developers, which I'm sure some of these people are children, and you shouldn't be pressuring, regardless of age though, people into doing what you want faster just because you want it. That seems very entitled in my opinion. Now, this next comment is a little bit longer. It says, I love the entire dev team and this game is going to be amazing. I can tell, but personally, the release date should not be the 31st. I know a decent chunk of people won't be able to play the release time because for me, it's coming out at 7 p.m. and I know a lot of people that's probably going to be about the same time and they won't be able to play because they'll be out with their family or siblings just helping them trick or treat or just out at parties with their friends. And I feel like a more reasonable date would be the 30th because there'd be a lot less stuff going on that day for people. And I can tell by the grammar of this is probably like someone who's younger, so I don't want to completely like be nasty or anything like that. But this perspective that everything needs to revolve around you as the player, I think is unfair. I understand games work to serve the players, but at the end of the day, just because it's inconvenient for you doesn't mean it's not inconvenient for other people. First of all, there's a giant chunk of people, more so typically certain minority groups. There are certain groups of people that don't celebrate Halloween. It's not part of their culture, their traditions, their religion. They don't celebrate it. And so I feel like this is disregarding the fact that there are people that don't celebrate Halloween and just like, it's a view that just promotes the typical status quo that everybody celebrates Halloween, when in reality, that's not the truth. Not everybody celebrates Halloween. There's actually a plethora of cultures that don't celebrate it. And I understand it's inconvenient for you, and obviously that sucks, but the game is going to be open for forever, hopefully, right? And so it's not like you have to play it the second it comes out. You can play it the day later. It's going to be fine. The game's still going to be there. On top of that, they've actually extended the time that you have to get the free set, so you have 24 hours now. So if you could spare 5 minutes within the span of 24 hours to get the free set, and then you can play it whenever you're free, I feel like that's fine. The other thing too, which I'm not trying to get like too political or anything, or like too into like logistics or whatever, but this no hate to this person, but a lot of the narratives going on with the time zone is a very Western-centric perspective, which if you don't know what that means, being Western-centric is perpetuating Western-centric ideals is the notion that the West, i.e. America, North America, is, the center of the universe and everything should revolve around them. And it's a toxic perspective to have because it disregards that there's tons of other areas in the world, right? And the issue I have is a lot of people say it's at 7 p.m. and everyone's gonna be going to sleep. Like, it's just a terrible time for everybody. But people disregard that there's people in other areas of the world, Asia, Indonesia, people in Africa, Australia, all these other areas, Canada, the UK, there's people all over the world. Okay, and it's like, to sit here and say like, oh, well, it's inconvenient for me, completely disregarding the fact that there's other time zones. Example, for people in Australia, they're basically the opposite of Western time zones, so it's like, it's gonna be the morning for them. I think it's a little bit unfair to say, oh, it's like late at night, that's not fair. I'm not necessarily talking about this person though, but like just in general, what people have been saying, just because it doesn't revolve around your time zone doesn't mean it doesn't revolve around somebody else's time zone, right? And not everything has to be about Western time zones. Just putting that out there. The game will still be there. It's okay. You don't have to play it the second it comes out. I would speculate the game might be very laggy the second it comes out because it's so highly anticipated and lots of people are going to be playing it. Big YouTubers are going to be streaming it. So honestly, you might not be able to play when it first comes out. And there might be so many people in it. Roblox can't really handle updates very well, so you never know. This other comment reads, I've literally been waiting months for the game and I've just been being delayed and honestly gets to a point, I know it's not your fault, but like I'm really disappointed and its release is so late at night. Maybe you guys can add the sales starting from Wednesday. So this comment again, it's kind of disregarding that there's different time zones, but I already went down that tangent. The other thing too is I feel like a lot of people say, oh, I'm so disappointed, like so annoying, and they say, but it's not your fault, but I'm so annoyed. It just feels like disingenuous, like you're complaining and being like, oh my god, this is so annoying, I'm so angry, it's making me so angry, and you're like, it's not your fault though, but like it's so annoying and I feel like the hype is dying and this isn't fair. It just comes across like a weird insult sandwich where you say kind of something a little bit insulting or inflammatory, then you say, oh, but it's not your fault, but then you say something inflammatory again at the end, which I don't think this person's like the worst comment. Obviously, I used tame comments more so in this video because I didn't want to like put the really nasty stuff because YouTube wouldn't like that. But I just think it's kind of like a weird perspective to have to say, I'm so angry, oh, but it's not your fault, but I'm so angry. Like, you could say you're upset, but like, I don't know, I just feel like the wording a lot of people are using is very entitled, in my opinion. This other comment reads, honestly, I can't lie, I was chill with the previous delays, but the day before the release, I can't help but be extremely disappointed, even though this is obviously Roblox's fault and not the devs. Something I want to clear up about this is that they did not cancel this the day before the release. They announced this on the 21st, so 3 days ago. And I think this is a No hate to this person, but I feel like just because you weren't aware or up to date with what's going on in the game doesn't mean you can make the assumption that it was just canceled today, the day before, because that's not true. They were very transparent right from the beginning. They didn't plan for Roblox to moderate their game. These assets had been in the game for 5 months. They didn't plan for Roblox to moderate it. That wasn't in their itinerary, right? And to say, oh, they blocked it the day before, talking about today, October 24th, but in reality, on the 21st, they were very transparent with us and put out a statement right away. So I feel like it's not blindsided. Like, we knew this. And even my video where I was talking about it, I said, I think the release might be pushed back, but I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to say that without knowing for sure, but it's confirmed. And so the narrative that, oh, this was just talked about today isn't true, and I think it's harmful and creates more negativity towards the game, because if some random person just hears they canceled the day before, they're obviously going to assume the worst when that isn't the case. This other person reads, bro, I swear to God, this game keeps getting delayed, like my hype is personally gone. Sorry to hear that, bud. Move on. Again, it's the notion that everything should revolve around you. I'm the only person that matters. It's not fair. The hype's gone. I'm not going to play it. When the reality is, as soon as this game comes out, I'm sure this person will be running to play it and be like, oh my God, this game's so great. And that's what's like so weird about the internet, is people will say such nasty things and be so nasty, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. That's even something I've noticed. Like I said, I'll be like on Twitter looking for like something to put in my video, and I'll see like some nasty comment about my YouTube video. I'm like, oh, anyways, move past it, move on, whatever. And like the same day, the same person will be under my video being like, oh my God, this is such a good video. Like, you're just trying to get a quick buck from talking about my channel. Get out of my face. Okay, and that's what I feel like is going on here, is people are like trying to be negative to like put pressure on the development team. But as soon as that game comes out, I can guarantee like all these people are going to be rushing to the game and be like, oh my God, it's so amazing. I love this game. I'm so glad we waited. I always believed in you. Hello? What are you talking about? This other one reads, it's only a week, everybody please don't be mad. And then they respond by saying, it's already, at least it's not a month. I've and probably a lot of others have been waiting for months on other games only to have the developers delay release dates several more months. I ain't complaining or starting drama, but it gets annoying sometimes when it happens, but it's understandable. Again, saying you're not complaining, but you are complaining, it's just like, it contradicts itself. It's a logical fallacy, doesn't make any sense. I understand, again, people are upset, but it's like, again, they didn't plan this. They didn't plan for the game to get moderated. They're losing money. In theory, like, they could have been making money. Instead, they're losing money currently because they can't publish the game. This is just, like, this is 9,000 times worse for the developers than it is for you. Because at the end of the day, this doesn't impact you at all. Genuinely, it doesn't. You can move on with your day, go eat your waffles, go watch your TV show, go play other Roblox games. It doesn't matter. It matters to the devs, though, because now they're having to fight with Roblox just to have access to their own game. So it's like, I don't understand people acting like this is the end of the world, and it's like, oh my God, my life's ruined. This other one, this is the final one I'm gonna show you guys. In general, every time you get hyped for the game, something new happens that delays it. What does T mean? I don't treat anyone. I don't think anyone's mad at y'all and the devs at all, but more this entire situation. First, the game was planned for the summer, delayed. Then September, delayed. Then October 17th, delayed. Then the 24th, delayed yet again. The community low-key has a right to be really mad, so I think it's best to let people vent their anger respectfully, because as far as I know, people on TikTok are doubting the game, people are bad-mouthing it, etc., etc. In general, and a ton of hype is slowly dying. To restate, we're where it was out of y'all's control, but my gosh, this is hella annoying. Again, hate to break it to you guys, this in my opinion is fear-mongering. It's like, oh my God, everybody's talking so bad about you, and everybody's saying the game is like falling off, and people are talking about you on TikTok. Okay, congratulations, like, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you expect the game to do? Magically pull the places out of their butt and be like, here you go. They can't do that. It's completely and 100% out of their control, and just sit in the Discord server and be like, this isn't fair, your game's dying, and this person said this about you, and they said that. Can you imagine how like stressful that would be for the 14 moderators and the owners? Like, I would like poop in my pants, because it's just, I think people think, oh, well, I'm just saying this one comment, and they don't account for like 1,000 other people also basically regurgitating the same kind of passive-aggressive message. And in my opinion, this is passive-aggressive. It's like, I understand it's not your fault, but you did this, and everybody's talking bad at you, but again, it's not your guys' fault. You think like this weird compliment sandwich sort of situation like is gonna pressure them into releasing the game? They can't. People can't give you something that they don't have. It's like bugging like some homeless person for their house. Like, they don't have a house. That's why they're called homeless. It just doesn't make any sense in my mind. And I think obviously a lot of these comments are probably made by children, which is, I think, the issue in this situation. And to be fair, I'm sure there's adults that are also being nasty, whatever, but a lot of these comments seem to come from a perspective of not understanding rather than necessarily an intent to be nasty. And so I do want to clarify, I don't think necessarily any of the comments I read in this video were intended to be mean, but I think they lack, just the reflection of how their words are interpreted and how they're received by other people. And it comes across that they just don't quite understand the situation. And I don't think they should be villainized for that, hence why their usernames are blurred. But I also feel like if you don't fully understand a situation, don't comment on it. Just because everybody's commenting on it on the Discord server and saying this and this and this doesn't mean you should regurgitate what they're saying and just act like it's fine. Because although your one comment may not seem like a lot, when it's paired with hundreds of other comments of the same nature, it becomes incredibly overwhelming. And it's like, I would speculate that it makes the devs not even want to work on this project. Like, if you're just gonna be nasty and toxic, why would they want to spend time working on this? Like, if you want developers to release a game that is a good quality game and, spend a lot of effort and time on it, you can't be sitting here being nasty to them anytime there's a mild inconvenience, which very honestly doesn't impact you at all. Oh, you're going trick-or-treating on the release date? That sucks. Okay, play it the next morning. Like, it just seems like such a non-problem. There's such bigger things going on in the world, and I understand people are like, oh, but this matters to me. Okay, I understand that. But again, a game being set back, I'm sure it's disappointing, but that doesn't give people the right to be making nasty comments and to be, oh, people are talking so bad about you and people are so mad with you. Like, they're backed into a corner. They can't do anything. I don't know what you want them to do. People are complaining to a situation that has no solution, that is in the control of the developers, which I feel like is unfair. But anyways, on top of that, the game did discuss that the game is intended to come out on the 31st, and then the update, like the first decent update for the game, is going to be on November 2nd. Keep in mind, this is still, kind of up in the air. If Roblox doesn't give them their places back, they can't release the game. That's out of their control. And again, people spreading the narrative that Royal High got the game banned or that the developers are doing this on purpose, it's toxic, it's not truthful. So anyways, guys, please be mindful of what you're saying. And like I said earlier in the video, if you guys can show the game some support, maybe leave some nice comments on their social media, you can just reinforce that you're really excited for the game, that take as much time as you need, because people underestimate the power of their words. And, a positive comment really does help brighten somebody's day over something negative. So please use your ability as an internet user to uplift people rather than bring them down. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Do you think this feedback's warranted? Because I certainly don't, but that's just my opinion. So anyways, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye!